let's go. We're back into the Shema. Let's go through some of the mitzvot that are involved in the Shema. And let's list them. Number one, when it comes to the Shema, has to be said twice a day. Morning and night. That's the mitzvah. It is a mitzvah, Doraisa Torah mitzvah. We're on page 79. Page 79. Twice a day. Says the Torah. Let's have a look at these words of the Torah itself. Remember, this is a Torah mitzvah. Teach to your kids. Talk about it. When you're sitting in your house, and you're on your way, when you are shochev, when you're going to sleep, or when you wake up. This does not mean exactly when you wake up and precisely when you go to sleep. Although we'll see there is another rabbinic mitzvah to say the Shema, and we'll see why, right before you go to sleep. It's going to add spiritual protection to you. Okay? It adds spiritual protection to you. So that is the wake up, going to sleep. This, however, says the Gemara, means not when you go to sleep, it's when people go to sleep, which is nighttime. How do we define nighttime in Jewish law? Not the sunset. That's Shkia, and that's important. It's called Set Kochavim, when the stars come out. Let's see, 3 stars or so need to come out. That has to be Vadai Laila. That means, for example, a person goes to synagogue on Friday night and davens Arvit, they do Mariv, they will say the Shema. That is not Yosei, the mitzvah of Shema at nighttime. That's said again after nightfall. So Shkia is not sufficient. That is Safek Yom, Safek Laila. We treat it on Shabbat to be Shabbat. That's out of precaution. But to fulfill this Torah mitzvah has to be after the stars have come out. So it's morning and nighttime. Okay. And the morning of the first few hours of the day, in order to state that as well. Until when can you say the Shema to fulfill this mitzvah? Famous. You have ideally before midnight. However, you have the entire night to say it. That is actually how you do it. There's a famous story of Gamliel and his sons in the Gemara, and they came and they said, we went out last night, went to a party. What kind of party it was? And can we still say Shema? And he says, yes, you can say the Shema all night while it's still nighttime in order to fulfill this mitzvah. Okay. What?
It was a wedding.
It was a wedding?
Yeah.
Okay. You learned that piece, the Gemara? Right, that's right. First, Gemara in Brachot. Let's have a look what the Gemara says about it. So it's not when you go to sleep, when you wake up, the Torah mitzvah kicks in. It is at the time. It's a morning mitzvah and a nighttime mitzvah. Okay? So that is the main mitzvah doraita. That is a Torah mitzvah of saying the Shema. That's a doraita. Okay? Alright. 2. There's something called Kriyat Shema Alamita. Kriyat Shema. Alamita. Alright? If you go to sleep. It's the bedtime Shabbat. Now this is not a Torah mitzvah unless you treat this as your Torah mitzvah as well. So even when they go to sleep, they'll say Kriyat Shema Alamita, and they'll say all 3 paragraphs. Some of the customs only say 1 paragraph. Some will say all the paragraphs. If you want to use this as your Torah obligation, Shema, that is okay. All right? That's Kriyat Shema Alamita, the reading of Shema Alamita. However, it is rabbinic. It is a rabbinic Shema. Why do we say it? Why are we saying the Shema? We're going to see basically today, we're going to see all the various times the Shema is said and what it does. It's going to do different things at different times. Okay, it's obviously thematically connected because it's the same prayer. Okay? Obviously, so that's Kriyat Shema Alamita. That is a rabbinic recitation to feel a very special bracha to do it that way. And that's what the Gemara says. Why is it done? So on page 80, was it S?
So then technically we need to say it 3 times again?
Yeah. 2 for Torah and 1 for this. Yeah. And you're going to say it a couple of times, another time as well in the morning. Body to if I shachar it, you say it.
So they're saying, wait, do we have to do Kriyat Shema?
It is a rabbinic mitzvah, yeah. Yeah. Amar Rav Yeshua ben Levi, says Rav Yeshua ben Levi, Afal Pi, even though Shekara Adam Kriyat Shema b'Beit Knesset, even though you said the Shema in the synagogue, Mitzvah l'krot al mitato. It is a mitzvah to say it b'mita, in your bed. Amar Rav Yossi Mikra. What is the source for this mitzvah? Where are you getting this from? So the Gemara is going to bring down a pasuk that's going to help us know where the mitzvah comes from. We know where the Torah mitzvah comes from. Go to see when you wake up. That's the Torah mitzvah. How about this rabbinic mitzvah? So there is a verse in the book of Psalms of King David, Tehillim, where it says, "Rigzu v'al techatau, tremble, don't sin. Amu bilvavchem al mishchavtem v'do musela. Reflect on your hearts while on your bed and be silent." So that's what the verse says. What has this got to do with saying the Shema at this time, of saying the Shema before you go to sleep? So they say that it's going to, we'll see, it actually gives a spiritual protection to the individual. You need a spiritual, so don't fear, it's nighttime. There are various forces out there, physical and spiritual forces that can get a person at that time. Therefore, don't get involved. Oh, if that's true, Rav Nachman answers and says, so if the whole thing is spiritual protection, the Shema is going to give a person spiritual protection by saying the words itself. It protects you physically and spiritually. That should be sufficient. But then there's something we know which protects a person even more. What's the greatest spiritual protection a person can have? Learning Torah. So the Gemara is now going to say, well, it could be that a person studies Torah during the day. That should be sufficient. And they don't even say the Shema on the bed at nighttime. Right? The first one you're going to need. That's Torah mitzvah. Everyone's got that. But this one, Krishma, and he says, Abai says, you know what, it's a good point. However, even a Talmud Chacham who spends his entire day studying Torah, even that is not sufficient protection, and therefore, a Torah scholar needs to say the Shema, and if not, at least one verse. Right? I give you my soul. However, nowadays, it has become a universal custom that everyone will try and attempt to say the Shema, at least the first verse and paragraph of Shema, as a spiritual protection before they go to sleep. Okay? There's a lot more to this. A person's soul is judged at nighttime when it leaves their body, goes to Shemayim. It gives extra benefit. Yes?
How are we allowed to say that prayer in our beds if we basically die there and it's so impure?
So
Like
you
have
have
to rinse our hands in the morning after we
this is
wake up,
nighttime. This is nighttime.
I know, but it's still like you're still sleeping now.
Very, very good. Very good. You're allowed to pray in your bed. It's a very good question. The Gemara talks about this and says you need to be covered when you say it. Okay? So you cover over you. And if you're a man, you wear a yarmulke, or cover your hair. Absolutely no problem. Absolutely no problem. The Gemara talks about people used to sleep non-dressed. Right? So that was a big question. Even the same, just putting the covers over you, just covered over you. We're going to get to it a little bit more actually. Are you allowed to make a bracha? At what state of dress are you allowed to make a bracha?
But not like physical wise, like aren't we like half dead? Like our Shema leaves us?
No. You're not asleep yet. No. When you wake up in the morning, you're half dead. Not you.
But the place, I know, but that place becomes like essentially impure.
And impure. No, I hear you. No, the person themselves, when they wake up in the morning, the Shema leaves them and comes back, and therefore you have to do until to time to get rid of the ruach tumah. So before you can daven in the morning, which we'll get to, you have to wash your hands. Except saying Moda'ani, because Hashem's name's not mentioned there. Right. So you can say Moda'ani Lefanecha without washing your hands. Afterwards you have to wash your hands and then you make all the brachot. But at night time it's not a problem. You haven't slept yet and you can daven and pray in your bed. No problem. Good question. Yeah, is that good? We got that. So nighttime okay, morning time when you wake up, no.
Well, you said provides physical protection.
Physical and spiritual protection, yeah. Yes. Okay, let's go to Persia. Who's excited about that? Because in history there was a Persian king. And this Persian king's name was Yezdegerd. Yezdegerd the second. And he made a decree. And this is very common, by the way. You'll see many people who've conquered the Jewish people and want to break us physically, realize the best way to get a Jew physically is first we'll get them spiritually. Okay? The Greeks did it, and the Romans did it, and before they try to kill us physically, they try to get us spiritually. And this king Yezdegerd, this Persian king from the middle of the 5th century, 400s, did the same thing. And he forbade the Jews from doing two things. One, keeping Shabbat, because Shabbat is the most precious mitzvah that keeps the Jewish people going. As somebody once said very beautifully, more than the Jews keep Shabbat, Shabbat keeps the Jews. And therefore, he forbade the Jews from keeping Shabbat. The Greeks did very much the same thing, right? Before they tried to get physical and take out the base of Mikdash, the first thing they did was stop Shabbat from being kept. Right? That's the Achilles heel to the Jewish people. There's a lot more to it, actually. Shabbat also adds a spiritual and physical protection as well to the Jewish people. Therefore, even they knew, stop keeping Shabbat, all bets are off for the Jewish people. But as well as that, he stopped them saying Shema. He made it forbidden in synagogues for a person as a community to say the Shema. And the idea with that was to eradicate any form of belief in Hashem and belief in God's oneness, because that declaration of the Shema is the ultimate declaration that God is one, is unique in the universe. Okay? So in order to ensure that this decree, this gezerah, against the Jewish people by this Persian king was kept, he used to have guards stationed around synagogues. Sounds crazy, right? But that's the way it was. And he stationed guards around the synagogues for the first quarter of the day, okay, when the Shema has to be read. In order to get around this, the Chachamim instituted 2 recitations of the Shema, one in the morning, okay, and one as part of the Shabbat Kedusha of Musaf, which assumingly at that point they would not wait that long. I mean, they went crazy. So you'll see that 2 more Shemas are mentioned. In the morning, at the beginning of Tefillah, there is a Shema, one verse said in the morning, right in the morning of the Brachot. Okay, so they obviously, for some reason, they missed that one. And the other one is the Shabbat, in the Kedusha of Musaf and Shabbat, right? And remember this, you say Shema Yisrael, and they answer and respond to that as well. Okay? Even though those recitations only have the words Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, right? According to one opinion we looked at in the Gemara, we don't go with this opinion, but there is one opinion that says you are yotz the mitzvah of Torah mitzvah Kriyat Shema just by that one verse. It's worth knowing that. Yeah. So the 2 times you see the Shema said, in addition to morning, night time, and in addition to Kriyat Shema Lamita, which has a different purpose, that is a spiritual protection. Right? There's also 2 more that came historically because of this. This happens a lot, by the way, in Judaism. Certain things come up historically because of historical need, and then what happens is we end up keeping it because we don't want to go down in Kedusha. Can anyone think of another example, by the way, before I list, of another thing we do, which actually we don't need to do anymore, but was done for so long that we do it anyway? It's actually related a little bit to this, yeah?
One is like that we do Chazarat Hashat.
That was because of the people. Yeah. And actually there's a bigger need now than it was then. Right? There's a bigger need now because people don't know how to read Hebrew. So Chazarat Hashat's help, and we don't really concentrate. So that we need now more than we did then. There's something because another threat. Reading the Haftorah. The Haftorah, right, only was put into play, reading a piece from Tanakh, from Nach, was added because there were times that you could not read it from a Torah scroll. So they had to find some other chapter in writings, right, in the Navi, the prophet, which kind of like thematically connected to the Parsha itself, had some kind of thematic connection to it. For example, when the Parsha of Shalach, we discussed that's the spies going to Israel. We talk about the spies that went in times of Yeshua. They connect it thematically. So there as well, we don't need that anymore because we can read the Torah. However, it's become a custom among the Jewish people, we keep doing it. This is another example of that. So since the Shema could not be said at its appointed time as a community, the rabbis added it in Shacharit during the week. If you look inside your tefillah in your Siddur, you see in Shacharit, you see the Shema in the morning, right after Brachot, so very early. And some people say just the first line. Ashkenazim and Sfardim will say actually the first entire paragraph, the Hafta paragraph. So in Shacharit Shema after Brachot in the morning, that's A. And B, we still say, which is very nice, we on Shabbat, in Musaf, Chazara. In the Chazara of Musaf, right, we say Shema Yisrael, everyone responds to it. It's only one line, but actually, you could be Yotzi the mitzvah of Shema just with that one line. Just with that one line, okay? And that was to get around this decree of this evil Persian king in order to enable us to be able to say Shema Yahweh.
Very much.
you're awake.
So, when you say the Shema in the morning, and then, like I noticed it's in the Siddur again later, do you have to say it again?
Great question. And the answer to that question actually is like this. If you want to be Yotzi, the Torah mitzvah, what you're actually meant to do, and do it at the right time, which is the whole thing, what you're meant to do is when you say the Shema, you should have in mind for just a moment, I'm not being Yotzi, the Torah mitzvah of Shema. Because you want to do it the best way. So people, and some Siddurim actually write it, or the halacha is, you meant to lafuche. I'm going to read this, but I'm just saying it because I've said the Shema, but I'm not going to be Yotzi the mitzvah of it, unless all you're planning on doing is saying that Shema, then that's fine. But you should have in mind, I'm not being Yotzi the mitzvah, I'm going to wait till I get to the main part before the Amidah in Rafil. That's actually, many people are not aware of the halacha. That's actually what you're meant to do. Because if you don't think that, at least momentarily, you're going to be Yotzi the mitzvah of Shema just by saying that one verse, according to a linear opinion, and you want to fulfill it the proper way. That's your question.
So you're kind of saying it like 4 times.
You kind of say, yeah.
And so that's a rabbinic law?
Yeah. This is rabbinic because the rabbis added so as well. This is also rabbinic. So we have Shema Torah, and we have Shema rabbinic. Rabbinic. Okay? Krishma Lamita, and these two other times. Okay?
What does A say?
He says in Shacharit Shema after brachot. After brachot in the morning, you say the first verse of the Shema. Okay? So eventually this Persian king was killed, as most evil dictators are. And the rabbis could have said, you know what, we've put it in there, we want to go up to Kedusha, not down, and remove tefillah, and therefore you see the Siddur has evolved and got fatter and fatter and fatter as more and more pieces are added on. Okay? Are added on. Very good. There's another time we say the Shema, and that's to be another reason. Okay, so we're looking for, every time it's said, there's another something going on, either historically or spiritually. Okay, because this is a spiritual protection over here, right? And this one was because of circumstance. This is circumstantial. This is circumstances that led to us just technically having to throw it in over there. There's another thing we do, and that is Yom Kippur, after Nilah. Right? Conclusion of the Nilah, we say Shema 3 times. It is said 3 times. That sound familiar after Nilah? Right, you're already eating the bagels at that point, right? At that point, like, I'm not even there. Right now, I'm in the bagel. Right, before you get to the bagels, however, you're meant to say the Shema 3 times. Okay? Is that right? סוף הסליחות אומרים, 7 פעמים השם אלוקים, ופעם אחת שמע ישראל, כמה פעמים ברוך שם כבוד. Oh no, we say it once, I'm sorry. We say Shema 1 time, and Baruch Shem Kavod Malchut Olam Va'ed 3 times. I'm sorry. You say Shema once, right? Shema you say once, and then Baruch Shem 3 times. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchut Olam Va'ed, you say that 3 times. Right? Is that right? Yeah, that's correct. Okay? And then we say Hashem again 3 times, 7 times after that. Okay? So why are we doing that? Because basically we said all of Yom Kippur, and we basically want to reaffirm, says the Mishnah Brura, our acceptance of everything we said. So that's really the conclusion. That Shema is really saying everything I've said up to the past 25 hours, I'm just wrapping it all together. That's what the Mishnah Brura says. But Pasuk Shema Shu Ikar Kabbalah Ol Malchut Shemaim. We said that it's already Ol Malchut Shemaim, which is the word Shema. Okay? Backwards. So over there we're pretty much accepting it. Yom Kippur is the right time to say it. Okay? And really it's also a declaration of faith. So what better time to declare your connection to Hashem and His Torah than Yom Kippur? Okay, so the Shema is said once. Once at that point over there. Alright? That's also where it is said. Okay. Why do we say Baruch Shem 3 times? Why do we say it 3 times? Page 81, note 5. So I think that is because right after you say the Shema, right, you're about to go back to your regular weekday personality, and therefore you're going from the level of a malach, an angel, down to the level of a human, and therefore therefore you don't want to kind of like, you're reluctant to do that, so you say the words out loud, because you can only say Baruch Shem Kavod V'Chasol Olam V'Ed loudly on Yom Kippur. So you want to utilize that and say it 3 times loudly at that point. Okay, so the Shema is said once, yeah.
So Shema said once, they said
Baruch Shem Kavod is said 3 times. 3 times, yeah. Yeah.
Out loud.
Yom Kippur Shema is once out loud, and Baruch Shem is said out loud 3 times. All right. There was another.
Is that rabbinic?
Yes, that is rabbinic. That is also rabbinic. The only Torah is that one up there. So all rabbinic. But there's another one which is not rabbinic, which we don't do nowadays, but was done, and will teach us something about the Shema as well, and kind of relates a little bit to something we said already. There was someone called the Mashiach Kohen. The Mashiach Kohen. I don't know who this person was and what his job was. He had a very specific and unique job. The Mashiach Kohen, or the Torah Mashiach, would have to work with the Israeli army, the army of the Jews, before they go to battle. Before they go to battle, he would rally all the troops together. They were very scared. Right? Time of the Torah, time of David HaMelech. They were scared. So he would gather them all together, and he'd be like, you're about to go to war, have faith in Hashem, this is God's way about to go, and he would give them encouragement of the battle they were about to go into. And there's something else he said. Let's turn to page 82. There's a Pesukim from the Torah, from Devarim. And this is actually, therefore, I assume, a Torah mitzvah. And it says, Ki tzeitzeh l'milchama, alovecha. You're about to go to war against your enemy. V're'ita sus v'rachav am rav mimcha lo tira mehem. You're going to see these other people, they got better chariots and better horses, and today better tanks. Don't be afraid. Ki Hashem elokecha imach. Because God is with you. Hamalcha Mitzrayim, who took you out of Egypt. Right? And Hashem took us out of Egypt successfully, although they had plenty of chariots and horses ready to kill us, and we still got out. Don't be afraid. Vaya kar v'chem el milcham. When you get close to the war, v'nigash hakohen v'dibelam. You can have this as they're about to go to war, as they're about to go into the battle itself. This kohen, this Mashiach, this Kohen Mashiach, would come up to them, and he would talk to them, says the Torah. V'amar, and he's going to say to them, Shema Yisrael, listen, children of Israel. Atem karevim hayom lemilchama aloveichem. You're going out to war. You're getting very close, going to battle against your war. They were scared, right? They got wives and children and homes, and they got lives, and this is a very scary time. And he says, don't be scared. You're about to go to war. Al yerach levavchem. Don't let your hearts be scared. Al tu, don't be in fear. V'al tachbezor v'al taratzum mipneihem. Don't be weak in your heart. Don't be fearful. Don't be alarmed. Don't be afraid of them. So he would give them tremendous chizuk, right? Emotional and psychological chizuk he would give them at that time. Okay? And look at the words. It says Shema. So he would say Shema to them. So even the Torah itself uses that phrase. He's hinting to them that the Shema is going to protect them. And here the protection is physical. You're about to war, you're not being spiritually attacked, you're being physically attacked. Ma'ishna Shema Yisrael. Rabbi Yochanan, the Gemara, page 82 says, and then Rishon Bar Yochai, Rashbi, it's as if Hashem is saying to the soldiers, even though you haven't done any mitzvot, it could be you're at a battle, you've left home, and you've become very lax in your Torah learning and your mitzvah observance, which is understandable because when you're in war, the pressures are so great that the obligations of the Torah reduce. For example, we even know that when the Jewish people entered into Israel, to have Yoshua, for 7 years, they were conquering the land, and then 7 years they were dividing the land among the tribes. They didn't have to keep kosher, says the Rambam. They ate treif. It's hard to get kosher food, kosher animals, check the problem. That's it. Eating absolute treif. At times of war, actual war, the laws of the Torah to help you to do this mitzvah battle are suspended. And then they are re-put in. The Rambam says those 7 years. So what are they going to do? They need protection. Says the Gemara, says Rav Shimon Bar Yochai, at least have one mitzvah, and that's the mitzvah of Shema. You're about to go to war, you're about to fight, don't be afraid, and say these words with me so that you get some spiritual protection and physical protection before you go to war. And that's what he says. That's Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. Afilu lo kayamtem ela kritas shema shacharit v'arvit etam masrit b'yadam. They won't defeat you. At least have one. So this was one mitzvah they would hold on to. This Kohen would approach them and he would say to them, don't worry about it, go to war. But this tradition carried on after the temple was destroyed. These spiritual people would get together, certain war Jewish people would get together and say the Shema. Even in modern day Israel, rabbis will be there. There's usually a chaplain. You go up there and says, don't be afraid. Have faith in God. You're doing the right thing. You're protecting your country. You're protecting your people. Hashem will protect you. They're bigger than you. They're stronger than you. And say the Shema with them. And say the Shema with them. That is a physical protection. So before war, is this beautiful mitzvah to at least say the Shema. Okay? At least to say the Shema, and that was a mitzvah in the Torah. Then we have the unpleasant yet. I've heard so many stories from the Holocaust. Like I'm sure if you've read any books, on the Holocaust, you know this is a big thing. It says, B'chol nafshem, b'chol levavchem. Okay? Even your nefesh. There is a tradition that a person says if they merit it, and it's a great zchut to have to do this, before a person passes away, they do teshuvah, right? They say words of teshuvah, they do al-chetz, whatever, or vidui rather, and then right after that, they say the Shema. The Shema, a person should try to make as their final words that leave their lips. Okay? There are examples right through Jewish history of this. Let's go back to one of those famous examples the Gemara speaks about. And this is the gruesome torture and murder of the great Rabbi Akiva by the Romans. Top of page 83. And the Gemara gives a very detailed and pretty graphic account of what happened to the great sage Rabbi Akiva. The Shah associated Rabbi Akiva La Riga. Right? Rabbi Akiva was caught teaching Torah at a time when teaching Torah was forbidden. That's another thing that other nations who try to beat us, stop us doing, learning Torah. And they took him out to kill him. Happens to be the time they did it, it was the time to recite the Shema. The time had come to recite the Shema. And they tortured him to death by taking iron combs and ripping the skin off of his body. Alright? While that was happening, he was able, this is the great Rabbi Akiva, to say the Shema. By the way, he was 120 years old at this point. He was able to say the Shema while he was about to die. His students were amazed at watching the great Rabbi Akiva being tortured to death, and while he was being tortured, even able to accept upon himself the old Malchut Shemaim, because it was Shema time. He was able to say these words. And they said to him, Ad kan, even until now, you're saying the Shema, you're still saying it? Amalahem, he said to them, Kol Yamai, my entire life, Hayiti Mitztayer, I was always wondering, Al Pasuk Zeh, on the Pasuk, the verse that we say, V'chol Nafshecha, right, with all of your soul, okay? So I interpret it, Afilu Notal et Nishmatchem. I interpret to mean, even if they take your soul, even if you're being killed, right? You have to show faith and in God at that time. Amarati, I used to say, when am I going to get a chance to really fulfill the mitzvah of even with your soul, even as your soul is leaving your body? Vakshav Shabbat liadi. Now I have the chance to fulfill this mitzvah according to how I interpret it as being even giving up your soul. Like him, I'm not going to do it. Right? He said the Shema. He was marich be'echad. We'll see that. I think we already mentioned it. It's a mitzvah to elongate the echad. You hear some people, especially in Sephardi community, will say it for like a minute. Right? By the way, I've sat in synagogues with certain rabbis, and the amount of time it takes me to say the entire first paragraph of the Shema, they are still in the first verse. These are people very medactic on the mitzvah of saying the Shema. It's Torah mitzvah. It's a pretty easy one. You just say the words, and they will do it. So they're saying echad, and I'm still like, I'm ready. I'm speed reading. Yeah. So Rabbi Akiva did the same thing. He said the Gemara says you should articulate that word echad in length out of more than all the other words in the Shema, first verse. As he said the Dalet of Shema, he died. So he's seen as the archetypal version of someone who was against his wishes, however, was killed and able to do it. Okay? They say, the Gemara says that a bat kol came out, a voice came out of heaven at that point and said, wow, Ashrech Rabbi Akiva, how great and praiseworthy Rabbi Akiva, Shiyatza and Shpachat Be'echad, that your soul was able to come out with the word Echad. Right? He connected the Nafshecha to the Echad. He put them both together, had a great merit. Okay? This mitzvah also exists, and this is what we have today, on a person's deathbed. So on the deathbed, the person's about to die. Right, before they die, you should try to make the Shema part of the person's passing away. Alright? And this is from the Chazal. And they say, it's been in another place, I should brought down the Chachmas Adam, who says, Seder Vidoy Shchivmira, a person should confess all their sins, and they say Shema. Like I say, and Baruch Shem Kavod Machzor Olam V'ed, before they pass from this world. Yeah.
I have a weird question in regards to like when you were talking about Shema and how like you were speed reading and like some people are talking to themselves. Isn't it hard to keep coming on? Like I noticed like there are a lot of people who never like are able to finish because the Chazan is like
Moving quickly.
yeah.
Speed reading.
Do Chazan
You know, a rabbi, he called speed reading the Shema? He called it submarine warfare. Why? Because you see the submarine goes down, and you don't see it again, and then it pops up somewhere else. You're like, how did it get there so quickly? How did it pop up? You don't see the bit in between. They're just speed reading it. And then I had a friend of mine, you have all these words in the Shema, right? And he said you would actually have to read it the way most people read it, you'd have to be like the fastest reader in the entire world. I can see how many words there are in the Shema. Right, 248, and say it the amount of time you say it, you have to be the fastest reader. The short answer to that is you should read at your own speed.
Do they dab it? I've never been a Chazan, so like I can't.
Depends. Some will wait for the rabbi to finish it. Some people are in a workday meeting, they go quickly. You should at least the first line in the first paragraph you should try to say and articulate it. I used to pray somewhere actually. It took him 7 minutes to get through. He literally sit. The Gemara says that Gehenna, I just read this Gemara with someone, it's so weird, is cooled down for people who say the Shema and articulate the words. I don't know what that means, but sounds good. Sounds good. So saying this one tefillah with intention, kavanah, and it's the only Torah mitzvah of all the tefillah, we said, this is probably the best time to actually slow it down a little bit. So a chazan depends. Maybe sometimes they speed through it. Sometimes you got some. In the yeshiva minions where they're learning all day, they will do it slowly. They will do it more slowly. They have more time.
Even when I speed read, I can't get it done that fast. I'm like.
So don't speed read. Don't submarine warfare. Okay. Okay. So how to say the Shema? So, yeah, you have a question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to say like the Shema when you're scared? Like I know you're supposed to say it if you think you're gonna die, but like let's say you're like, I don't know, on a plane and there's turbulence. Like chances are the plane is not gonna crash. But like, are you allowed to?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wouldn't that bring an Einhara?
No, that's for sure. It's definitely to Hashem. It's the opposite.
Some people say it when like an ambulance goes by.
Really?
Yeah.
That's nice. I know people will say it's a fill-up prayer. Say the Shema for the person who's going towards. Why not? You're just praying for that person. You can. By the way, it's just a verse. It's just a pasuk from the Torah. You can say whenever you want. You know, and you can say Hashem's. If you're saying an entire pasuk, you're allowed to say Hashem's name properly. So there's no problem. You can say it as often as you want. So I say as you want. We're just saying there's certain times in a person's life in Jewish history when it should be said, and the days. So it should be said. But yeah, absolutely. If the person gets scared, they're in turbulence, you know, and say the Shema, it's probably a good idea. Yeah. Okay, this first verse, however, says the Rambam is so important that you have to concentrate while saying it. Okay, and we'll see how to do that. Hakora Shema, v'lo kiven libo b'pasuk rishon, shu Shema Yisrael, Shema Elokeinu Hashem Echad, lo yatzei techavat. According to the Rambam, you've not fulfilled the mitzvah. You've got meaning. You've got to know what the words mean while saying it. And we already said we have to think about, right? Here, Shema Yisrael, Hashem, we have to listen and understand that is God's oneness, and He is one in the heavens and here on earth as well. That is the basic kavana a person needs to have, and he's our God. Needs to have. The basic translation of the words we're going through. Okay? When you're reading the Shema, you should not gesture or do. First, you definitely cannot speak. From Baruch Shamar until after the Amida, you cannot speak. That's halacha number one. We'll get to the more halacha later on, but that is halacha. You should not speak from Baruch Shamar. And when I say speak, that means any form of communication between a person, you should try not to make, especially in Shema. Having said that, the Gemara does say, and the Shema, if someone asks you something, you can respond. Okay? If someone asks you, like you can say, like greets you, not ask. If someone greets you, you can respond. Generally speaking, that's between paragraphs, yeah. Till after the Amidah, a person should not even be speaking at all. Cannot speak at all. Okay? That's from Baruch Shama, which is the beginning of Pesukah Zimra, right through. Till after the Amidah. You should not speak until after the Amidah. You should say no words. No extraneous words to anybody else.
But isn't this meeting different till you show
Yeah. I'm including that in. Baruch Shema is before Pesukah Zimra. No. No, you most certainly cannot. Baruch Shema is before Pesukah Zimra. Therefore, you cannot talk to a person from Baruch Shema till after the Amidah. Okay? So that includes Pesukah Zimra. Yeah. Okay, so that's the halacha. Akora Krit Shema. Lo yirmos benav. We're saying you shouldn't hint with your eyes. Lo yirkos b'sfatav. You shouldn't mouth something. Okay, motion with your lips or your fingers, so that your reading should be first, right? During Pesukah Zimra, if you want to like gesture or something, then it's less. But during the Shema, not so. Okay. So he says, "V'im asakain afal pishiyatze." He says, truthfully, you've still fulfilled your obligation by doing it, but it's still disgusting to do so. Harez maguna, he says. Okay. So the first line we said is probably the most important. According to one opinion, it's all you need to be able to the mitzvah. Therefore comes tradition, which we learn from Yehuda Hanasi, to cover our eyes while saying the Shema. Cover our eyes while saying the Shema. That's the Gemara in Bracha. Tan Rabbanan, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad, Zu Kri Shema Shel Yehuda Hanasi. Was the Shema of Yehuda Hanasi. He would use this verse, and leave out the remaining paragraphs. Rav said to Rav Chia, who were both students, I didn't see him do the. He said when he passed out, he accepted. When he covered his eyes, he'd cover his eyes, and it was yoked to the mitzvah that way. Okay, so we don't do this nowadays, meaning we don't say all paragraphs like this, but he would cover his eyes for the first line of the Shema, and it was acceptable all Malchut Shemaim, accepting Hashem as his king, and that's why he did it. Okay, so what we do now is we follow Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. We cover our eyes while saying the first paragraph of the Shema. Okay? That's pure concentration. Some of the custom to do it like this. There's a shin and a daled and a yud. Right? It's the name of Hashem Shakai as a system, but that's not necessary. That's just a minhag among people. Okay? Okay. Tell the place to go through. Page 85. What did we finish this today? Oh, I'm excited. Oh dear. Okay. Vayem Shema, Vayem Kabbalu Tabalu. What is, and if you hear, we said already, we discussed it the first, here's the source for it. Unkla says, Vayem Kabbalu Tikablum. If you accept. So the listening, we said, is to accept. He translates listening as to understand and to accept on page 85. Okay? Right? And the mitzvah over there, said Rav Sadi Gon, is to really acknowledge and internalize that there is only one God. Which according to the Kabbalists, there is only God. That's what it means. There is nothing else. Everything else is an alma, the shikra, a false world that exists, and all that exists is Hashem. There is only God. And everything comes from God. Okay? So the Israel, who is the Yisrael we're talking about? So the plain sense refers to Yaakov. His name changed to Yisrael, but it refers to the Jewish people in general because we are the descendants. That's page 86. of Yaakov, as Gemara says. Okay, first what it was said to Yaakov Avinu. Before he died, Yaakov Avinu, his name was changed to Yisrael. So much was said to him. Okay, and he responded, however, nowadays it refers to all of his descendants, the entire Jewish people. So it's a declaration to the Jewish people. That's what the Gemara says. Okay. Okay. So the next part we kind of did. So let's go to the bottom of page 86. You'll see that the first line of Shema, you see Hashem's name said 3 times. Okay?
You're not doing part B.
No. We just had a calendar before. It's fine. Just repeating what we did before. 3 times that Hashem's name is mentioned. Right. Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. Says what is the difference? Elokeinu, our God, refers to Hashem as being the strong and the powerful. Okay, that is Elokeinu, refers to power. We said the word El means power. Elokeinu means the power by the powers. That is Hashem's din, and that is referring to Hashem as the all-powerful, never-ending source and the root of all of our souls, the ultimate life force of all creatures in the world. Right? It's the name of din. Generally speaking, we don't pray to Elokeinu. We don't pray to Elokeinu because we're asking Hashem to judge you strictly. Okay? That's Hashem's name of din, of judgment. However, we are going to temper that din by putting Hashem's name of mercy, that's the Yud, with the Hey, with the Vav, with the Hey, on it as well. Okay? So we're going to surround, Chazal say the word of Elokeinu, because that's still true. Hashem is the powerful. But you don't want to pray to Elokeinu. You don't say Elokeinu save me. You say Hashem save me. Alright? Because Hashem, the name, refers to the name of the Yud with the Hey, with the Vav, with the Hey, with Hashem's name of mercy and miracles. Okay? So the name of Yud Kei Vav Kei, the Tetragramon as it's called, is there to temper and to reveal to us, and that is the name of Hashem's mercy and Hashem's miracles. Okay? That name was not given to the Avot, or they knew it but they didn't use it, and that's why open miracles only happen at the time of Moshe Rabbeinu. Right? So that's when open miracles are first mentioned in the Torah. Okay? So we have Elokeinu. You're like, well, why would I pray to Elokeinu? That's a dangerous game to play. And the answer is because we temper it with these 2 over here. The Vilna Gaon goes further and says that these 3 names of Hashem in the first verse of the Shema actually refer to... One second. Oh, that's a Sifri. Sorry. So it refers to past, present, and future. Okay? He says the first Hashem is that Hashem is supreme of all creation. The second one is God is supreme now. And the third one is Hashem will be supreme in the future. So the 3 names of Hashem in the Shema, that first line of the Shema is past, present, and future. Okay? So Hashem is the God who created the world, the universe, and everything. He's Hashem right now with us, and He's Hashem in the future as well. Okay? He says the first Hashem is from creation, the Elokeinu is Mor al Azman Hahu, now, and the final one, the second Hashem, is on the future as well. That is the Vilna Gaon's understanding. So you're actually going and connecting Hashem right through Jewish history. Turn to the page 88. Now the Sifri, which is quoted by Rashi, says, why are we being told that Hashem is one? What does this come to? Elokeinu, our God. Why does it have to add our? Just say Hashem, the God, means our God. So he comes to teach us that right now, He is our God. and he will be in the future, in the Yemos Mashiach, we say, Zachari the prophet says, Bayomahu Ya Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. Right? We say that at the end of Aleinu, at the end of our tefillah. So why do we say that? Because right now, he is one, but he's only one for us. In the future, he'll be one for the entire world. Right? The world will recognize this. So it literally is a reference to Bayomahu Ya Hashem Echad U'Shmo Echad. So the Hashem Echad is now, U'Shmo Echad is now be one, is in the future when Mashiach comes. That is what Zachariah the prophet is talking about. Okay? That is hinted at in the verse Shema. Shema Elokeinu, he's everyone's God. So right now we connect him as Jews, but in the future, Mashiach comes, it'll be for everybody. Alright, so I know I'm rushing a little bit, so I want to get through this piece though, I apologize. A few more minutes. Okay, the Rashba says a very important part of the Shema, Hashem Elokeinu, is the idea that Hashem is watching over us and is involved in our affairs. So Elokeinu, our God, makes it the personal God. Remember, other nations have always said that there's a God, but he's not aware and not involved in people's lives. So the Elokeinu, the nu at the end is ours, means, says the Rashba, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is aware of what's happening in this world and directs our affairs directly, not through stars or constellations, right? He is our God. It is a personal relationship. Remember, this is a very, very big moment in Jewish history when Moshe Rabbeinu went to see Paro, and Moshe Rabbeinu walked into Paro, and Paro said, "Who is your God?" And he said, "I'm the God of a Yud with a Hey with a Vav with a Hey." Right? And Paro said, "Never heard of him. I've got 30,000 gods in my book. I've never heard of this one." So the famous question is, why did Moshe Rabbeinu just say, "Okay, well, just add him on"? So the idea was, it was a new concept. The new concept that came out at that time was that Hashem is actively involved in our lives. Actively involved and directs our affairs, and not some distant God that makes the world and is separate from him. Which takes us to the end, which are the Ten Commandments over here. And the Gemara, the Yerushalmi, connects the Ten Commandments with the Shema. So when you say the Shema, the entire Shema, you're actually connecting to the Aseret Dibrot. So jump to page 89, and you'll see the first line is from the Ten Commandments, and the second piece is from the Shema. So I'm the Lord your God is the Shema. Okay? You shall have no other gods, that is, Hashem is one. Don't take Hashem's name in vain. It says, Ve'ahavta, you should love Hashem your God, and don't swear falsely in Hashem's name. But it says, remember the Shabbat. It says, Zachor, in the Shema as well. That's the remember over there. You have to honor your mother and father. So it says you and your children will live long in the land. Okay, you'll have a lengthy life if you listen to the mitzvot. Do not murder. Right, in the Sefer Dibrot. But it says, if you don't follow the mitzvot, you will rapidly be kicked out of this world. That's the connection over there. Don't commit adultery, it says in the Ten Commandments. It says, don't stray after your heart and eyes. It says, don't steal. And it says, well, says the Shema, if you do these laws, you're going to have plenty of food and harvest. You won't even need to steal. Don't be a false witness. It says, Ani Hashem Elokechem. Don't be jealous. It says, put a mezuzah on your door in the Shema. Right? Mezuzah appears in the... So we have the 10 Aseret Dibrot and the 10 ideas from the Shema that come to fulfill all 10. Say those 10, you get those 10. And finally, there is a large ayin and a large dalad in the Shema, which we said spells the word aid. Spells the word aid, which is a witness. Because we, by saying this, are witnesses to God in this world. That is what the Baal HaTurim says. Make Hashem king over you. So the Dalet represents the 4 directions of the world. And the Dalet put next to it. And finally, we did this already, the 248 spiritual limbs of a person relate to the 248 words inside the Shema. And finally, there's a comparison made a number of times between the Shema and eating. Right? When did the Kohanim go eat? So there's always a connection. They say that saying the Shema is like food for your soul. That mitzvah is so special. It's like you are actually nourishing your soul by saying the Shema itself. That's why you'll see a number of places the Shema is compared to food. Okay, we did a lot of classes on the Shema. Thorough job, if I say so myself. Next class, we will start the Amidah and figure out all the interesting laws and ideas that come through those 18 brachot. Have a great day.